10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Sir Marcy, and our lesson for today is from week 3 of module 2, that is laws of exponent. Okay, are you guys ready? Let's go. In grade 7, exponents was already introduced. So for today, we're going to recall what is an exponent and its laws. Okay, let's start with the definition of exponent. An exponent is a symbol on the upper right corner that tells us how many times the base is used as a factor. For example, we have a times a times a is equal to a raised to 3. A here is called the base and 3 is called the exponent. Let's try to rewrite the following in terms of exponent. We have x times x times x times x times x. If we will write this in exponent form, that is x raised to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's x raised to 5. Next, we have here a. We have 2a, so that is a raised to 2 and b raised to 3. Next, we have here, if we're going to write this in terms of exponent, that is actually 3 times n raised to the second power. But then, we know that 3 times 3 here is 9. So the answer is 9 n raised to the second power, or that is simply 9n squared. Now recall the different laws of exponent. For today, I'm going to discuss 4 out of 7 laws of exponent. Let's go! Let's start first with the law of product. The law of product states that when multiplying two bases of the same value, keep the bases the same and then add the exponents together to get the solution. For example, we're going to multiply x raised to n times x raised to m. That is simply x raised to n plus m. So let's try to find the product of the following. Suppose we're going to get the product of a raised to 4 times a raised to 3. Since they are the same, since the bases are the same, we're going to copy the base, which is a, and then we're going to add the exponent. So 3 plus 4. And what is 3 plus 4? That is simply a raised to 7. Okay, let's try another example. If we have x raised to 3, y multiplied to x squared, y cubed, that is simply x raised to 3 plus 2 multiplied to y raised to, since there is no exponent here, understood by convention that that it is equal to 1. So we have 1 plus 3. So we simplify this. We now have x raised to 5, y raised to 4. And this is now the product. Okay? And for our last example, notice we have 2m squared n cubed times negative 3m squared n cubed. In this case, we can still apply law of product, but then we're going to add some rule. We're going to multiply the bigger number and add the smaller number. Meaning to say, if we're going to multiply 2 times negative 3, the product is negative 6. Then we have m raised to 2 plus 2, and we have n raised to 3 plus 3. So the answer now is negative 6 m raised to 4 n raised to 6. Okay, so that's all about law of product. Now proceed with law of exponent number 2. The law of exponent number 2 is called law of quotient. It states that when dividing two bases of the same value, keep the base the same and then subtract the exponent values. That is x raised to n divided by x raised to m. It is simply x raised to n minus m. So for example, we're going to find the quotient of a raised to 6 divided by a raised to 4. If we will rewrite it, that is the same as um, that is the same as a raised to 6 divided by a raised to 4. So we have a raised to 6 minus 4. And what is 6 minus 4? That is a raised to 2. Next, we have example number 2. If we will rewrite it as 8x raised to 8, y raised to 4, all over x squared, y cubed. So we subtract um, two bases of the same value. So we'll just simply subtract their exponent. We have x raised to 8 minus 2, y raised to 4 minus 3. So our answer now is x raised to 6, y raised to 1, or simply that is x raised to 6, y. Okay, and for our last example, we have 12m raised to 4 n raised to 6 all over negative 3 m squared n cubed. So in this case, we're going to divide the whole number and then we subtract the smaller number. So 12 divided by negative 3, we know that that is equal to negative 4. Then we have m raised to 4 minus 2 n raised to 6 minus 3. Our final answer is negative 4 m raised to 2 n raised to 3. Third law of exponent, it is called power of a power. It states that to multiply the exponents together and keep the base the same. For example, we have x raised to n raised to another power m. So what we're going to do is simply multiply the exponent. So for example, if we're going to simplify x raised to 2 raised to another power 3, and we have 2 raised to 2 raised to the third power. Okay, so let's try to solve this too. First, we're going to simplify this by multiplying the exponent. So x raised to 2 multiplied to 3. And what is x raised to 2 times 3? That is simply x raised to 6. The same goes with example number 2. That's the same as 2 raised to 6 if we're going to multiply 2 times 3. And take note, if we're going to evaluate 2 raised to 6, that is 2 times 2, which is 4, times 2 is 8, times 3 it's 16, times 2 it's 32, and times 2 it's 64. So 2 raised to 6 is equal to 64. Decide to proceed with our last law for today, that is called power of a product rule. When any base is multiplied by an exponent, distribute the exponent to each part of the base. So for example, we have here, let's say, this is a raised to m and b raised to n raised to another power p. So what we're going to do is simply distribute the exponent to each part of the base. So that is a raised to m p b raised to n p. Okay, so let's try to solve, or let's try to find the product of. We have 2x cubed raised to the second power. So just like what I've said, we're going to apply distributive property. So we will distribute the exponent to each part of the base. That's 2 raised to the second power x raised to 3 times 2. So 2 squared, we know that 2 times 2 is equal to 4, and that is x raised to 3 times 2. Our answer is 4x raised to 6. And for our last example, if we have 3m squared n raised to the fourth power raised to the third power, we again apply distributive, or we distribute the exponent to each part of the base. So that is 3 raised to 3, m raised to 2 times 3, and n raised to 4 times 3. So 3 times 3 times 3, that is equal to 27. M raised to 6, n raised to 4 times 3 is 12. So this is now the answer. Okay, so that's all our lesson for today. I hope you learned something new, and I hope to see you soon. Goodbye.